I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning because my brain hates me. I don't know if this is something you experience, but as a creative person, it is definitely something that I tend to go through. And it's a lot of sleepless nights. So sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and there's an idea that just won't leave my head. And it rattles around in your brain, kind of like a pinball in a pinball machine. For me, the only way to actually get rid of that is to do something where I either write it down or type something or leave myself a note or something like that. Because otherwise, I will wake up at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. This idea will be in my head, and I will not be able to get back to sleep. I mean, I don't really get back to sleep anyway, but it's a thing. What usually happens for me is I go through the 5 stages of grief when I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they all typically happen within about 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes to get through 5 stages of grief. Stage number 1, denial. When I go to sleep, I have my phone right next to me. I don't typically look at it in the middle of the night, but sometimes it just happens. So I'm sleeping, and I reach my hand out, and I'm feeling, and there's my phone. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to look at it, and I'm going to look at the time. I'm really hoping that it's like 8 o'clock, and then I'm like, 4. It's not 4 o'clock. No, it's not 4. No, my phone is wrong. The satellites that give me time are wrong. Stephen Hawking was wrong, and it's actually 8 o'clock, and I got a full 8 hours of sleep. So there's denial. Stage 2, anger. This is where I thrash about in bed and want to just like throw my phone across the room and rah, and then start messing up the pillows and can't believe this is so stupid up at 4 o'clock. And usually doesn't last that long for that stage. Stage 3, bargaining. If only I hadn't had that big glass of water before I went to bed, then I wouldn't have had to get up and pee at 1 o'clock in the morning, and then again at 2 o'clock, and then again at 3 o'clock. I felt like I haven't slept in 4 days. Maybe I can go back to sleep. Maybe I can sleep for a lot longer. Maybe I can go back to sleep immediately, right now. Close your eyes, go to sleep, go to sleep, It doesn't work. It never works. Stage 4, my favorite, depression. I wish I could sleep like normal people. Stage 5, acceptance. This is the part where you're just like, screw it. I'm getting up. So what happens for me is that an idea comes into my head, and this happened last night because I've been kind of kicking this story around, separate from the giant big damn zombie book that I'm working on, and there are these characters and these things in my head, and I'm like, man, it's eating away at my brain. And so typically when this happens at 4 o'clock, it's just accepting the fact as quickly as possible, of course, that you're creative and you're going to have to take notes and write some things down and just get the ideas out of your head. Like a pinball bouncing around in a pinball machine, only when it falls down past the flippers is it really over and not making noise anymore. Well, that's kind of what I'm going for. 2 things can help with this. First one, and I've had limited success with this, is keeping a notebook by your bed, a dream journal or something like that. And then when you wake up in the morning, you just go ahead and, write down what it was you were thinking, or if it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you write down that idea, and that way you can kind of let it away from your brain and say, brain, stop it, shush you, and then go about with your, lovely morning sleepy time. The second one, which I have much better luck with because my handwriting is really, really awful, and if I write anything at 4 o'clock in the morning, it's just going to look like scribbles anyway. I might as well keep a crayon next to my bed and a piece of construction paper because that's about how accurate it's going to be when I get up. So the second one is the phone. And so on my phone, I have an app. I use Ulysses for all of my writing, and I just go ahead, open it up, pop in a quick new little sheet note thing, and type, and just kind of get the idea out. And then gracefully fall back to sleep in bed and feel wonderful. That doesn't happen. Usually I write something down and then I'll get up and I'll go down and I'll have my coffee and I'll start my day. And by the time 8 o'clock at night rolls around, the only thing I want to do is go to sleep. And I usually don't even remember what happened between 7:30 and 9 o'clock in a given evening, because I'm just so exhausted because I've been up since 3 or 4 or whatever, because my brain won't be quiet. I guess the point is, if you're creative, you've got to do some things to discharge those ideas from your head. Otherwise, they will tend to eat away at you. And so recognize when that's happening. If you feel like your brain is fixated on a particular idea, take the time to write it down, get it out, make that pinball stop bouncing around in that machine of your brain, and go ahead and keep it aside. And then when you can devote proper attention to it and you're not exhausted from waking up at 4 in the morning every day, you can go ahead and write about it or work on it or create it or whatever it is that you do as a creative person. So it doesn't just eat away at your soul constantly, and you can actually make a nice creative work out of it. Anyway, I hope that helps you. It certainly does help me sometimes. And also, don't drink a big glass of water before you go to bed, because then you'll have to pee at 1 o'clock in the morning. Until next time.